Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, inspiration, and hope. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and it is my pleasure and privilege to be here today, welcoming all of our new viewers on Roku worldwide, as well as Amazon Fire and Instagram, and all of our loyal viewers on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, our website, and EIEIO. Our show today is about coexistence and sustainability through a dolphin's eyes. Joining me is the star of our show. It's pet psychic AMINAH. She is in California in the good old US of A, and she's going to join me for this conversation. Welcome, AMINAH. Hello.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love Fridays.
Yes, it's always a good time. I always love seeing you, and it rounds out the week, and we always have interesting conversations.
That's wonderful, and I appreciate you're so intuitive. I'm going to give you all the credit. The statement of how and what we're going to do is spot on. We're going to learn this together and refresh it together. Some of us are old enough, and I'll leave that for you and I to decide if that's us it is, to love a Disney movie that had a dolphin as its main character. I mean, was that not fun or what?
Absolutely. The whole world of Disney, it's really changed over the decades, but we grew up with a lot of Disney movies, and everything seemed to be good, clean fun back then.
Absolutely. It's great to stay in the I'm not aware department. And we're going to give you a little bit of that today so that we can coexist happily. And a lot of times, Dr. Jacalyn, I know you know this because your whole platform is about enlightening all of us to say, oh, I can't fix it if I don't know that I'm causing a problem. And that's what we're going to do is just enlighten you on just a better way, a different way, a creative way, and you might come up with one of your own. We'd love to hear it.
Absolutely. Great point. Thank you. And really, it's so important. And I was really kind of oblivious to coexistence until I met you and we started doing these shows. And now I'm thinking about it all the time. How can we all live together in harmony as opposed to, oh, this creature doesn't deserve to be here because X, Y, and Z. So
Right.
when
Right.
we think about dolphins, aside from the Disney movie, one thing that always comes to my mind is you can go places in the world to watch the dolphins and they're leaping out of the water. Hawaii comes to mind, for example,
Mhm.
and they always seem to be so graceful and so friendly. And I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but let's kind of dive into it. What are some key factors that come to mind for you when you think of a dolphin?
Well, I did my homework and I'm going to give you the Dolphin 101, and it's all geared to animal protection. And these are wild animals. This is something really to keep in mind. The dolphin might come up and wherever you're out in the ocean and want to be friends and all that, but just know having the choice to feed, to interact, to be around wildlife comes with great responsibility. It's not something let's all go put a bird feeder out and then walk away. The bird feeder understands the birds that come to that the person's filling it and it's not coming with plants and trees. I encourage you to, of course, put out water for animals that are on land and let the ocean animals have decent oceans to be in. We have popularized, that's not even a word, is it? I'm going to use it, for us to travel in all types of places. And the ocean is one of them. What we have done in all that travel is poison the ocean. We've done it on many, many soils and many different topographies and waterways, salt water and regular creek water. This is what I want to bring to your mind and say, okay, why do I want you to know about dolphins? Because they're worth saving, because they're worth us knowing that what we do, and you get in out a gas run motor boat something, those chemicals get into the water somehow, some way. We've dropped a can, we've dug for oil and it's leaked out everywhere. This is the things we can know about and then be proactive in not continuing it, supporting the governments that are getting away from it and doing things a different way. It is a positive change when we all get to the finish line of life together.
Absolutely. Excellent points. So I'm wondering, are dolphins considered to be pretty fast compared to other sea animals?
They can be. A shark will outdo them every time, usually. But it would be a contest. I'd have to go out and see if we can get them to hit to a race. But there's tons and tons of wonderful information about what we're talking about. And I really want to cover the World Animal Protection, put an article out. I really gravitated personally. It's got great shots, but it's also got a chapter on Dolphins 101. So, what is a dolphin? There are so many types of sea animals. Is it a fish? Is it, a living being? Does it have thoughts? Does it breathe? It breathes air in its lungs. So, what is it? Well, dolphins are considered marine animals. It is a broad place there. Everybody, there's only so many people can get in, and they belong to the order of. So this is how science goes down and defines it even more so as a crustacean. Same as a sea creature in Latin is what that means. And by appearance, dolphins have a beak-like, that long beak-like snout is literally what they call it. I always want to call it a long nose or something, but it's actually called the snout, and called a rostrum, rostrum. Look it up in the dictionary. That's what they call it. And a curved fin on their back. And some people actually will get very frightened when they're in the ocean because they'll see that fin and they automatically think what, Dr. Jacalyn?
It's a shark.
Yeah, they're only one with a fin. No, there you're going to get this lovely, gentle creature. And what I mean by gentle, I don't mean that they're a pushover. They're very powerful. They're very smart. They're very agile in their environment. And they can be very, very curious, which puts them in a great deal of danger. If you've ever seen, especially a wild dolphin anywhere, sometimes you'll see cut marks on their body. Dr. Jacalyn, do you remember or have heard that? I mean, it's been in the news once in a while, but we're not that close to the ocean anymore. What is cutting up the dolphins?
The fisherman's nets.
That's one of them. They get trapped in those more than anything. And without coming up for air, they die. They cannot stay submerged in, that's what the hole in it's an air hole. And they can't get up. You'll find them in fishermen's nets. In fishermen's nets, there's a ton of stuff other than fish. It's if you want to put it simply, it's the downsides of fishing. So realize tons of other animals get trapped in those nets, but they either don't have a license to sell them, or there's regulations, or they're no good because they died in the net and they don't come out fresh. But remember, everything we eat has a pro and a con on how it's slaughtered, to how it's caught, how it's raised. There's a myriad of ways that it can be healthy. It can be good for your body to eat, and maybe not by the manufacturer that you're choosing. But what is a dolphin? A dolphin is a mammal. It is a crustacean mammal, and what that means is large sea creature. Obviously, you might realize that it's another Latin thing. And the appearance of the dolphin, they have what's called a beak of a snout, and it's very strong, and they can move rocks and bunk somebody on the head and probably not feel very good. But dolphins pretty much live in two places: oceans, and I'm always surprised that no matter how many times I read it, and rivers. They can cross over from saltwater to freshwater.
You know what's interesting? I've noticed when I'm in New Jersey, we are on the bay, and then the bay goes into the ocean. And there are a number of creatures that live in the ocean and come into the bay, and they go back and forth. So it sounds like the dolphin is one.
Yes. And you would think that would be hard, because I'm sorry, a river, a stream, some days, because the drought or whatever, this is not a deep set of water.
Right.
This is not ocean. And it's always just amazing how they can transition from place to place to place. Now, do they get in trouble? Sure. If they pick the wrong day and there's no more rain and they aren't able to back out of the rivers. I've seen many, many, many rescues on that whole problem of the water dries up to such a shallow they can't flop themselves back in. So it is a skill that they must learn to survive and cross back over. And you imagine the salt water and the creek water, totally different prey, totally different food source. So it's amazing that this animal can easily transition from one to the other.
Definitely is. And it's also interesting from what I read that the majority of dolphins like the warmer temperatures, but there are certain dolphins that like the colder.
Yeah. And that would be like saying you've got lions, you got cats, you got pets, you got, there's a bunch of kinds of lions and or cats, and they don't all like the same. They all don't hate water, believe it or not, the thing that we all talk about with cats. So this can transition over many types. There's a lot of different kinds of horses, for an example. And we have a lot of them domesticated, so you run into them. But a Clydesdale, who's just a ginormous horse with ginormous feet and can pull a whole bunch of stuff, is not the same as a quarter horse or a pony or a Shetland. A Shetland's a little teeny thing. And everybody said, oh, it's a pony. Well, no, it doesn't get any bigger. Ponies are sometimes thought that they'll get bigger and they'll grow. Again, here we have a dolphin who can make transitions from freshwater to saltwater. I don't know any other fish that can do that. And I'm not saying a dolphin is a fish, but we're mimicking that pattern of going from one to the other. And there are fish out there. I'm just don't have them on the tip of my lips. But here you've got a very large animal, and they can transition from the salt to the clear water. It's amazing.
That is really amazing. And from what I read, typically the male dolphins are longer than the females, and the males will have many partners. They really swim around, if you will.
Well, and the great thing in wildlife, sometimes people say, well, why aren't they, just with one partner? Because in the wild, you could lose a partner. And there are plenty of animals that stick to one partner for the duration of their lives. And that's not a thing. But there's also trying to make sure that your species survives. So many times one of the pair will die. The other one will go and find another mate to create more animals that will survive. Can you imagine you have a bad winter day and everybody freezes or the water dries up? There's some that survive and some that don't. And it's for many, many reasons. So there's got to be a second choice, third choice of what happens about the ones that survive. And what you're hoping for are the ones that are the healthiest, the ones that are great at hunting, great at finding food for their family, all of that, hiding from predators. All of that has to be part of what there are. So I'm going to back down so we know how many species of dolphins there are. Can you give me a number, Dr. Jacalyn? How many species?
Yes, I think 40.
42. Yes, 42.
Whoa, I won a prize. Ding, ding, ding.
I know. Look at that. 42. There are 42 species of dolphins. Every time I read this for the first time, I'm an animal science major, so I did this in college, but you just go, wow. We all live either near the water that they live in or not. And so it doesn't equate. And I every time I've gone to the coast, because I always lived inland, it was fabulous to see them. Some of the dangers out there are the boats. Dolphins will come in to sanctuaries and to places that have a medical staff for them all over. I know in California, and I believe in Florida also, that they are getting boat strikes. So the dolphins are swimming along, and all of a sudden this other dolphin that's kind of mean will clip them, especially on motorboats that have the motor on the back end. And the dolphin doesn't understand this. And if they live, they do try to tell everybody else. But let's go back. And do you know what dolphins eat?
I don't know. I know about their eyesight, which is really good, but what they eat, I don't know.
Well, they're considered carnivores.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the start. And they eat other animals, plain and simple. They do fish, squid, shrimp, octopus, jellies, and all of these types of things. So they're really participating in the ocean, more the saltwater ocean. You might see also that they can transition to a non-salt water. And that's a really big deal because most animals and fish specifically and crustaceans can't make that travel from salt water to to clean water. That's not what I want, but
Fresh.
unsalted water.
Yeah. Fresh water. And I think
There it
it's
is.
really interesting. When I was reading about their eyesight, they're considered to have panoramic eyesight, and they can see all different ways, except they can't see up, but they have
Mm.
very good vision.
Yeah, yep. And most predators know this. So if they're going to come at them, they're going to come out of above. And if they hit a shadow, meaning they create a shadow, then you're not doing it very well. But yeah, you get a big shark in there or anything like that. Animal world on any topography, so on in the forest, in the desert, in the ocean, in the creeks, it is eat or be eaten. It really, really is. And that is a way to make sure that what is breeding, what is having young, and what is surviving are the healthy. Because if you're fast enough to get away from the predators, then you're the one that should be having babies, not the ones that are sick or injured or have got half their leg cut off. It doesn't mean they can't have a successful life, but that means they're going to have to be pretty ingenuitive about getting where they need to get.
Absolutely. And I don't know if this applies for all ocean creatures, but I know that dolphins swim and travel with their eyes open. And imagine if you were in the ocean, you had your eyes open, that would really burn. But they have their eyes open and they're able to see really well. And they've got really highly developed senses all around.
Absolutely, and many of them, and some of the dolphins we're talking about, it's also they have a clear lens that comes over their eyes to protect them. Does it help with I got poked in the eye? Yeah, not so much, but it will protect all the things that are in the water, and that is something some animals actually have what they call a double eyelid. So one, imagine that's the one you sleep with. So it's pure darkness. And the other one is like sunglasses. That's the best way I can explain it, just as a pedestrian way. So we also know that dolphins are great communicators. This is something that the military has studied extensively, especially in the time around World War I, World War II. They had messages going back and forth with dolphins. They had all kinds of things that they learned about bombs with dolphins, and they could feel the vibration and many other things. So dolphins played a huge part in our coexistence and understanding of what they can and cannot do.
It's really amazing. And something else, I like to paddleboard. And there's
Mm.
only been, I think, one time when I went out into the ocean, which was not really voluntarily. But you'll see people way out in the ocean on their paddle boards, and you'll see the dolphins just jumping around. And what I think is so cool, in addition to how beautiful they are, if you were to see sharks jumping around, you'd be paddling really fast. But when the dolphins are around, there's that sense of peace and calm
Yeah.
because they're not really interested in us, are they?
No, they realize how silly we are and idiotic we are and the silly things we do. And just, looking at how we either don't know how to coexist or we haven't been introduced to the word that you come to their house and their yard and you're going to dump oil. Yeah, what? Because it went on for decades before we would realize the damage we were creating. And then people wanted to eat fish and they're like, yeah, you probably shouldn't because it's eating, all the crap that we drop into the ocean. And they might get tough enough to do that, but I don't know if I want to be tough enough to eat from that source. So dolphins are considered one of the smartest animals out there. Not the largest dolphin and the largest whale are amazing. Orcas can grow over 30 feet long. So if you've got a dolphin going that way, wow. That's an amazing. But most, like in Maui, the dolphins are about 5 feet 5 long. So there is a difference. There is a difference from 30 feet to 5 feet. And they're all in the same water, bucking for the same types of food. And what we're doing is we need to be better. We're better than we were 10 years ago. We're better than we were 20 years ago. But our motorboats, our recreation, we tend to really uproot their habitat and their food sources. Because I don't know about you, if I was a fish and somebody was sliding over the top of me in skis or something in a motorboat, I might not want to hang around. So be cautious and aware of where you're at and what waterway you're at. Are you in fresh water? Are you in salt water? If you're in salt water, yeah, you might want to think about the sharks. If you're in fresh water, yeah, you might want to think about it, just a big old fish. It just depends on where you're at.
Absolutely. And to your earlier point, there's been a lot of research done about dolphins.
Mm,
And my understanding is that for their body size, they have a large brain, and that there have been a
absolutely.
lot of comparisons to humans in terms of personality traits, but they're considered to be, to your point, very intelligent.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they're testing on animals. They've done it with chimpanzees, they've done it with orangutans, they've done it with so many animals because we're always curious. And I don't remember his name. I hadn't thought about him in a long time, but there was a gorilla that knew sign language. And he was very, very famous throughout the 70s. And it was amazing how they were able to teach him sign language, and he understood how to use it back.
Mm.
If you are taught, hi, how are you, but you don't understand what is hi, how are you, what is open the window, and gorillas and large apes, many of the animals in the monkey line of DNA understand these differences, and we need to respect that.
Yes. One thing that I really wanted to just touch on, because we talk all about coexistence and sustainability on this show. And
Right.
one thing we haven't really talked about, but we just were touching on it about the research that takes place. There's a lot of testing that's done with animals. And
Mm.
as you know, there are products now that are cruelty free, animal testing free. What are your thoughts about the tests that they do on dolphins? It seems like it's not invasive, but I don't know.
They have pulled it back tremendously. In the beginning, with testing and finding out, we could find out so much more about our products or what we wanted to put on the market and what drove the mighty dollar. But when you come to the realization you could actually not kill your subject or poison them because you want them to try the next, I don't know, perfume or foundation, and you wanted to know what happens when they eat it. And it's like, no, we can do better, and we are doing better, because that, what I call, light bulb turned on in the late 60s, 70s, somewhere in there. Many of those scientists that were making these products said, maybe we don't have to kill off all our test subjects. And believe it or not, they've gone to human test subjects. So do you think the people are going to put up with that? No, no. But it's become a place where they have actual data with a person and their product. I know for me, I have participated in many, many science projects like this, and them testing what we like, what we don't like. And I really love being a part of that first conversation to say, yeah, no, that doesn't work for me. This doesn't work for me. And they take a group of people and then see what that algorithm comes up with. Did they like it? Did they not like it? Is it a color you like? There's just so much more humane testing now than what was done before. They were literally killing off their test subjects. That's a lot of animals and people to go through if you're making them sick. So I'm glad that we've got a lot of change.
Absolutely. And I've pulled up some interesting facts about dolphins, and I'm just going to read a few of them, and let's just have a chat and see if this is information that you knew. So, when humans take a breath, we replace 15% of air in our lungs with fresh air. But when dolphins take a breath, they replace 90% of the air in their lungs with fresh air.
Yep.
It's pretty interesting, isn't it?
It is. And I hope what it tells people is this is their quote unquote humanity. This is their motor operandi and all that other saying. But can you imagine how far they can go on one breath compared to us? And that's not smoking or eating terrible things or not exercising and taking a deep breath every day. Because I don't know, I think I heard you talk about that. You jog once in a while, or you still are doing it. For me, I played sports my entire youth, and tennis and swimming and the whole thing. You can't do that if you're compromising your lung capacity. Animals in the wild, they don't survive very long without having great lung capacity and a good food source. This is really important to have.
It's very true. Excellent points. I know my father had lung issues, and just to watch him struggle to take a breath, it's something that we really take for granted. If you can't breathe, you are going to have a very hard time doing anything.
And you're going to have a short life.
Yeah.
Because all of that goes into the lungs, feeds the parts of the lung that are so important to feed the rest of the body. So if you're in a town where they've got Chernobyl going, you might want to move. And they saw so many strange conditions when things like that happened, from whatever, the smoke, the oil, whatever. We have learned so much from the 70s, and I hope we keep going.
Absolutely. I agree with you. One of the other cool facts is that dolphins, and I'd love to know how they know this, but dolphins can recognize themselves in the mirror, and they love looking at themselves. And maybe they're even signing autographs. I don't know.
I'd like to see how they hold the pen. No digits.
Here's an interesting fact. A two-headed dolphin was found in Western Turkey in 2014.
Yep. It was all the rage. And again, it's a birth defect. And what happens for these animals, you can see this in happening with humans also, with conjoined twins. That's the word I'm looking for. And what happens is you've got this egg, and they're so close together that at some point, and I didn't read any more of the information to find out, okay, is it the doctors, the lawyer, who finds out how this is? But you have those two eggs, and they don't separate, which is what they're supposed to do, to create two beings, two animals, two people. And they don't. And then they're sharing an arm, or they're sharing a hip, or they're sharing a leg. And it's science-wise, it's an amazing read, an amazing thing. Seeing these children grow up to be adults, and they thrive because they chose to thrive, and the world was able to meet them halfway. And that's really important. Whatever the public is willing to tolerate, I think really gets more funding and gets more exposure. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing now, is saying, okay, animals go through this also. You can have where the egg is supposed to separate and make all the different little parts of an egg when they're in their mom. And sometimes that doesn't happen for whatever reasons, her health, something she's eaten, or the quality of the environment. If all the trees in the forest burn down, I'm sorry, the birds don't have a place to nest. The bears don't have anything to climb and get into safety, and on and on and on and on.
It's a domino
effect because of trees.
Right. Absolutely. One of the other facts that I'm really questioning how they can determine this after the one about looking in the mirror is that dolphins can understand each other when they're talking on the phone. Okay, now how are they doing this? All right, there's a quiz. What did dolphin A say to dolphin B? So I don't know they come up with this, but there are references for all of these, so it's very interesting. Dolphins can understand as many as 60 words, which can make up 2,000 sentences.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
I'd like to know who sat there and studied that and wrote it all down.
I know.
Okay, word 1 in.
How about this one? Just a tablespoon of water in a dolphin's lung could drown it. A human could drown if 2 tablespoons of water were inhaled into the lungs.
Well, that must be why we're louder.
Interesting.
We can take a deeper breath and yell at somebody or something. And dolphins have the most amazing click, click, cheep, cheep vocabulary. And it's wonderful. I'm going to bring us back a few thousand years in our timeline, because of course we're not this old. But do you remember the military? I think Disney put it out as a movie about the dolphin, the talking dolphin or something.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, well, it was very popular, and this dolphin hung out with all the Navy guys, and they had scenarios. They actually had a real dolphin through the movies, and it was a really great series. Of course, I saw as a child, and I'm an animal person even from that age, so I'm watching all that. And it was I know his name, Flipper.
That's right, Flipper. That's
there right. You go. I was like, you weren't in a hole anywhere, but that was a huge movie that Disney, I believe Disney did it, right?
I really don't know. I'll have to look it up.
There you go. Well, all those things. But Flipper, it had his own song that opened up the movies or the stories, and they were wonderful. And they really, what I loved as a child, who didn't know that I loved science, animal science specifically, is they showed how he came and went and how he saved military because that was his job when they finally met him, and all the great stories that Disney put together. I believe it was Disney putting out Flipper. And I believe it also was a TV show for a long time I want to say in the 60s and 70s.
I think you're right. Yeah, you're definitely right.
And it was wonderful, because who doesn't want a dolphin talking to you? It's a lot of squeaks. Just prepare everybody. How does a dolphin talk? Squeak, squeak, squeak. They're all tones, and they'll mean something.
Sounds. The dolphin can make up to 700 clicking sounds per second, and the clicks come from deep within the dolphin's head, underneath the blowhole. Scientists sometimes call this area monkey lips.
Wow! Look at you. There we go. That is amazing. That is amazing. And you just look at our background, always just reinvigorates me, because we're using that natural color. We're using the tree about, and animals see that as, nope, there's a job. There's where I'm going to put my house, all that type of stuff. Birds are great. And there's so many other animals that is how we decided how to build buildings, was watching the construction. If you've ever seen a bird's nest up close and personal, otherwise Google it, it is a work of art, because they're putting twigs where you don't think the twigs. And remember, got a little bitty beak to carry all these little twigs with, regardless of the beak, as far as, there's some more that are big. Well, they probably have bigger nests, because their offspring is going to be in a bigger shell, on and on and on. You're going to find all these amazing ways that animals coexist with their environment, because what they know, they're living, that if they waste all those resources and they chop all the trees down, where are you going to safely put your nest? Where are you safely going to have the twig to make your nest? And on and on and on. So remember that when next time you decide to drop a trash on the street and go, somebody else will get it. Well, who's somebody? I haven't met him or her yet, because I don't know who she is. I get in trouble a lot with my daughters when I pick up the trash, but I usually have something in my hand. If I can't, I still gonna pick it up, and then I can wash my hands. I don't touch my face. But for me, that's who I am, and I need to do that. because I can. And maybe somebody will help me someday. I drop a napkin or Kleenex or something and don't know. Honestly, didn't see that I dropped it. And until I need to blow my nose again, like 20 steps or 2 days later, I'm not going to go, oh my God, what happened to that Kleenex? This is killing our wildlife. This is killing what they eat. And if you've never seen an animal get stuck in a rubber band, oh my gosh, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And it's a slow death because they can't hunt and they can't eat. And eventually it gets stuck somewhere that is literally being a vice on their body. So please, please think about out there that what we do, everything we do, you and I, Dr. Jacalyn, are here every Friday at this time to share as many wonderful, easy ways to do something or to understand something. Because you specifically started this channel and all these people that you've asked to come and talk about their expertise. And now you are able to put that conversation forward. And that's what you can talk to your neighbor. You can talk to your friends. You can talk to a little kid that cut their finger and probably won't do it again because they don't want the Band-Aid or the stitches or anything else like that. And that's what I encourage everybody is share your knowledge. Share your knowledge and we all do better.
Absolutely. I just want to mention something. It's a selfish plug, but it makes
Yay!
perfect sense. One of the children's books that I've written, The Ocean Calls and Lady Ella Listens, there is a dolphin. Thomas the dolphin is in here. But in the book, and actually it was from this show that made me think about it, is one of the animals gets caught in the net. Can you see the net?
Yep.
And Lady Ella, the ladybug, that's me, is actually on Thomas the dolphin because we're going to go and rescue Eve out of the net. Eve is a seal. So it's just kind of fun because it's exactly in alignment with what we're talking about today, to help children learn how to listen and at the same time teach them about ocean pollution and how we actually can do something, do our own part. Because to your point, we throw something out the window and we don't realize it gets picked up. It's like if you watch a balloon that's let go and you see how far and how wide it goes, and things end up in the ocean, and there are things living in the ocean, and that pollution can suffocate them. One more fact I just wanted to mention about dolphins is that dolphins also can't drink seawater, which I think you mentioned. So they get their water from the food that they eat because they have to have water as well. So dolphins
it's one of the essentials across the board of living creatures.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs water, even the grasshopper, even the praying mantis. You've never seen a praying mantis. They're adorable. They really go like this.
I have seen one. I had a giant one on my door one time, but I wanted to say about the water where the air conditioner line exits, I guess, the house. There's sort of like a slow drip. And I've seen this giant toad. And it goes and it just sits under there because it needs water. So it's actually kind of interesting. It drops
got its own sauna. So think about that. If a drip or some condensation, whatever you have and anybody else might have, think about, okay, maybe somebody's decided this is a great house and it's not costing you anything and it's not causing you a bigger water bill or on and on and on. There is a positive way to move through the world. So I've mentioned a number of times that I am living in a condo now, not a house, with a yard. And that this is the first time I've ever done that with no yard at all, except for college. Lived in college housing, and that was no yards. What I do in my small little entrance to my front door patio, I guess you could call it, is I put out pollinated flowers, which means I am catering to the honeybee. And we are in real dire strait about the honeybee. So please don't swat them. Don't spray them with anything at all. But maybe take the farthest part, because I understand people are allergic to bee bites and are afraid of all kinds of things. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just hoping to give you some tools to start working with them as opposed to seeing them as a threat. And so you can take a flower plant, and hopefully all us girls out there and a lot of the guys will love flowering plants. Just move them out from where you walk or how you get into your home, so you and your bees don't come into a collide of, oh gosh, and I'm swatting them, and the bees going, what the heck happened? I'm in a whirlwind all of a sudden. And your flowers will also do better because they are getting cross-pollinated from flower to flower to flower. And that's what the bee does. It sticks on their little legs. So the bee does your flowers a great deal of good. And then you just make sure they're watered and have good soil.
Excellent. So many great points that you brought up today. Thank you for another fabulous Friday. I think it's episode 161, which is
You'd think we'd be more tired, but you look stunning, by the way. Absolutely. And I'm just comfortable.
Well, we're in the same color family, which is
I know, and didn't even call each other.
And just the last comment that I have for people who maybe weren't watching last Friday, but we actually had something truly amazing happen here, which is the first time ever. Princess Kate gave her news about the cancer, which is obviously horrific. We were able to have one of our expert correspondents from London who had just delivered this information on the major networks. He broke in his story, and I said, we're interrupting this program to bring this piece of news. And it was actually quite amazing that we got that experience, although the news obviously we wish the news were different, but we were able to break the story here along with the major networks. So that was
so exciting.
We'll always have together.
Absolutely. So, the point is, everybody, keep checking in, keep watching, because we don't stay on point all very long. And there's so much organic that happens that Dr. Jacalyn brings to each one of our shows. And this gentleman having firsthand experience with the first family was just amazing. It was amazing. It really was. Thank you for including me on it.
I'm glad you were here. And we're showing your website right now, which is bridgingworlds.us. Please go and check out all of the services and offering that Pet Psychic AMINAH has. Pet Psychic AMINAH is a trainer, award-winning speaker, empath, wildlife educator, and advocate. Look how well I can read. And you can go ahead and connect with AMINAH here on AMINAH socials, right here on the website. And of course, there's a number of shows here you can look at if you're interested in booking to get an appointment right here. You can go and do that. So there's a lot of great information here. So how else would you like people to reach out to you? And what's your message of the day as we close out?
Message of the day is, it's okay to be lost in confusion. Just look for the right teacher and or be open to the fact that the right teacher might not be the person you'd hoped it be, but it's the person that you need it to be. So be open to the fact that life throws us curves all the time, but we can learn from them and be better people if we're open to them.
Can I tell you, that was really profound. I'm really proud of you. I really like that. Thank you. That was beautiful.
I'm lucky to have a guide, and I just go, okay, mouth is yours. And I sound so intelligent. No, I really, truly mean it. It is my experience, and I'm very, very lucky to be in a part of people's lives when their pets or somebody has died. I am very familiar with death, and I talk to dead people all the time, so they hold no spookiness for me, and I can bring that calmness to other people's lives, I hope. Pets or people.
Absolutely. Well, my dear, I wish you a beautiful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next Friday for another exciting topic. I really enjoyed last week. It was about bats. This week, dolphins. I don't know about next week, but it'll definitely be
Exactly.
All right. See you later.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye.
And thank you to everyone who's watching or listening on one of our platforms. We really do appreciate you. Please do subscribe to our channel on YouTube, which is USA Global TV. You can go over to Roku Worldwide and Amazon Fire and download our apps. If you'd like to be a guest on this or any of our shows, we'd like to hear from you. We love having guests. Go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and book your session. We've got about 40 different shows to choose from. So if you have a topic that we are not covering, you could be on our Hot Topic show. So this week we had someone on about radon. We had a gentleman yesterday who's a 12-time paddler winner. He was in the Olympics as well, and he was diagnosed yesterday. He was, I guess, 2 days ago now, with a cancer that is debilitating, and he was given until the end of the year. So he was here talking about his journey, inspiring other people. So we've got all kinds of content from people all over the world, and we love to hear from you. Let's hear from our sponsors right now. Please do stay and watch the sponsorship, some really great messages that may resonate with you and cause you to take action. Thanks again. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter if you're celebrating. Happy Good Friday. And be blessed wherever you are in the world, whatever it is you're celebrating. You do you. Bye.
Women of the Caribbean and around the world, are you tired of the status quo? Tired of barely making ends meet? Tired of giving maximum effort for minimum results? Are you in need of change, a fresh start, a new outlook, a new perspective? It's time to break through. Join us along with women from around the world at the Empower Her Escape, a 5-day all-inclusive royal cruise to the Bahamas and Florida. Connect with world leaders and influencers and begin afresh your journey to more. Hear dynamic speakers with sessions on women in leadership, the importance of mentorship, how to start a business from the ground up, financial literacy, an integrated approach to wellness and wholeness, and so much more. Guest speakers include First Lady Anne-Marie Davis of the Bahamas, Her Royal Highness Katerina of Yugoslavia Lady de Silva, Her Royal Highness Queen Sekothali Mephena of South Africa, and Coach Max, Global Multi-Six-Figure Wealth Coach. Cruise packages include 2 nights at an all-exclusive resort, gratuities, taxes, and port fees, red carpet welcome and extravaganza, course materials, and a souvenir gift bag, flight not included. The Empower Her Escape Cruise takes place on May 15th through the 19th, 2024, departing from the port of Palm Beach, Riviera Beach, Florida. Hosts for this life-changing event are Coach Cherish Hollingsworth of Florida and Coach Mercy Gilbert of the UK. For more information, visit our website at www.empowerherroyalescape.com or call us at 954-203-6608 or email us at cherishresiliencecoach@gmail.com. Connect, collaborate, celebrate at the Empower Her Escape Cruise.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, mastery in dining etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you. This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating warm memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com, ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.